Thank you and welcome to the show for today. You are watching Perspectives and I am host Alana McLaughlin. This morning on the show I have PhotosByZo. I have a young African-American photographer here to discuss what urban photography in Middle Tennessee looks like. He's here to discuss his background, his education, ultimately the impact that he seeks to leave through his unique photography in Middle Tennessee and ways that us as Perspectives viewers can support him. So I just want to thank you this morning, Zoe, for just coming to share your story. And to get this first segment rolling, I want to talk about baby Zoe years. Set up that childhood, kind of what family and life looked like, and just take me through those baby years.
No, for sure. Growing up in church, things like that, grew up with my grandparents actually. So never got to stay with my mom or dad. With that, never had like a father in my life, so got a lot of game from my uncle Jamal. So that kind of helped me out through growing.
And I kind of want to talk about your personal experience. I know that you just mentioned both being raised by your grandparents and not really having that father figure.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me how both of those things impacted you, both positively, negatively, or if at all, and just tell me how those kind of shaped you as an early young man.
A lot, especially having friends and playing sports and having their dads and stuff come to the games, and I'm just, you know what I mean, just seeing it from that outlook, it just gave me more motivation to, you know, be something or be somebody.
And on the flip, how did it feel being raised by your grandparents? Kind of did you have that traditional black experience of like the church on Sundays, the dinner times? Kind of tell me just a little bit about life with them.
Yes, definitely church, old school music, good cooking, Sunday meals, so stuff like that, most definitely. Being with the family and just, you know, with that type of experience they have, being older people, you get to learn a lot.
You're right. And I'm glad that you're part of that dying generation who still listens to our elders. And now take me through, as a young man, you have the support of your grandparents, but not so much that fatherly or that motherly support. Now tell me how that shaped your schooling experience. Take me through middle school and high school and kind of how it felt finding your identity in that kind of that puberty era and how you navigated through that. Through Hunter's Lane and Maplewood.
Yeah, I think mainly the main thing that got me through school is sports. Yeah, so playing sports, I played football, baseball, wrestling, so track also. So, you know, it's playing sports to kind of give you an outlook on how life could be and how to manage things and be dedicated and consistent in things. You know, it's teach you different traits and things you can use in life.
You're right. And now to high school. I know that you started your high school experience at Maplewood High School, and that's off Walton Lane. And I know you ended your high school experience at Hunter's Lane High School, and that's a bit of a ways away. Hunter's Lane is what, Madison?
No, it's actually it's about 5 minutes away.
Oh, okay,
it's
really?
5 minutes away, yes.
Really? I don't know why I think it's like so far across, but it's two different environments nonetheless.
Yes, most definitely. That's true.
And really tell me about those two experiences leading through you graduating high school and kind of the beginning of your adult life.
I think Maplewood, when I went to Maplewood, it was more of a family thing. So I was more accustomed to staying after school even longer, just being with the teachers and things like that. When I went to Hunter's Lane, it was more me focusing on what can I do once I graduate? What is my plan after? You know what I mean? So it was two different things, because when I went to Maplewood, a lot of the teachers had left, so it wasn't the same feeling, you know what I mean? So that's why I went to Hunter's Lane and made my mark.
Now, after graduating, and this is how we'll wrap this first segment, by the time you had graduated in May of 2018, had you figured out what you were going to do in life?
Yes.
And
Actually, yes.
And you knew it was
exactly what I wanted to do. Exactly what I'm doing now is what I envisioned in 12th grade.
Really?
Yes.
What inspired that?
I actually seen a cameraman. He was working with this artist named Money Man.
Okay.
I just never forget when he was like, I got paid $50,000 for 3 months or 2 months or something like that. So once I heard that, it automatically hit my head. I'm like, okay, we probably make some money from this. You know what I mean?
Did you have any prior experience with photography?
No. No.
Did you even like intern at like a Life Touch or nothing?
No.
But you just heard that and knew that this is what I wanted to do.
When I was in high school, I was taking a business class, so I knew business is what I wanted to do. So let's have a passion for something, which was for photography, make it a business. And not only that, what specific photography do I want to do? So I picked music. Everybody loved music. Everybody, you know, It's the hottest thing, so.
And now, and be honest with me, I think that the draw of like music or like celebrity photography is the glam of it. When I look at music videos or just carpet photos, just promotional content rollouts, photographers for our local celebrities, specifically our black celebrities, it's glorious, it's glamorous.
True.
And do you think that that kind of played a part?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what I was doing.
Oh yeah, and I say you have the look too. I mean, you're blinging, you're beautiful, and seriously, it's an aesthetic thing. Because the difference between like our rap and our like predominantly hip hop videos versus other genres are the glitz and glam.
Yes, image.
I know, and it's really just kind of interesting. It's almost like a science what you do, and I want to pick back up on that in our second segment. I encourage viewers to tune into the second segment of Perspectives, where Zoe and I will return to discuss urban black photography in Middle Tennessee. Second segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin. You are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I have Photos by Zoe here discussing his artistry, his background, his career, some of the unique experiences that he's had, and ultimately what urban black photography in Middle Tennessee looks like. In our first segment, Zoe set up his early childhood, some of the experiences that shaped him as that adolescent. And we talked up through his graduation from Hunters Lane High School in the year 2018. And we're coming now talking about that early career, some of the obstacles that he faced, how he overcame them, and ultimately the impact that he seeks to leave on our community through this work. Tell me, now you're fresh out of high school, it's 2018, you know you want to be a photographer.
Yes.
What's the next step?
The next step. So once I graduated, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Focus on the music. And I also want to say this, I was working at Walmart. So I was working at Walmart, I was telling people what I wanted to do, and they was just laughing, like they couldn't see it. You know, they couldn't see it. So quick example, knew I wanted to do music. You know, if I can just get a celebrity or something like that, it can automatically raise the notoriety.
You're right.
Right, so first person I was able to work with was Boosie. You know what I mean? So knowing a person like that can easily get your name out there. First day I met him, he gave me a shout out.
How did you meet Boosie?
I was invited to work at this video shoot.
How did you get invited to work the video shoot?
Networking. I just say networking. Networking get you in rooms.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now tell me, okay, now you've networked, you've been invited. Now tell me about meeting him and actually ending up kind of producing content for him.
It was pretty cool. I think the main thing that stuck with me, what he said, Boosie told me, come to Atlanta. And I'd never been to Atlanta, you know what I mean? So he told me that kind of stuck with me. Like, I probably should go to Atlanta. I probably should, you know, check it out. So I actually made my first initial move after the Jelly Road tour to go to Atlanta. I was on break, and that kind of just opened the door for me. That was the risk for reward. That was the sad moment of my life to change.
And before your transition to Atlanta, we just kind of hopped over, but I want to go back to Jelly Roll.
Oh, for sure.
The pride of Nashville. We love Jelly Roll. But seriously, working with someone of that caliber, how? Tell me about that experience.
Yes. So I used to go band play. He has a studio. And Cook Up Boss, if you're familiar with him in Nashville, he used to always be there. So Cook Up, real good friends with Jelly Roll also. Went on tour. He was asked to be on tour with Jelly Roll.
Okay.
So I was on tour with Cook Up, it all mixed in, and was on the road.
Now, what does tour life look like for a photographer? Were you on the bus with them?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
wow. Okay, so this is like cramped up quarters.
Yes.
Tell me. I've never been on a tour bus.
So with the touring thing, it's more just a time thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We always get there early. We have to wait. You know what I mean? So it's just finding things to do in between time before the show starts. That's the main thing in the traveling part, because once the show is over, we're back on the road. So it's just like, that's a mental thing.
And now telling your grandparents that you're about to go on the road with Cook Up and Jelly Roll, how did they react?
They was happy for me. You know
Awesome.
what I mean? They might not even know who the person is, but they know it's good news.
I'm gonna say, because my mama would have asked some questions. She would have been happy, but she would have been like, somebody got a phone number? I'm like, yeah. Now, your transition to Atlanta.
Yes.
Tell me, now you're almost like this fish out of water in Atlanta.
Yes.
And tell me about kind of
Basically.
establishing your footing as this professional photographer in Atlanta.
So when I first went to Atlanta, you know, I used to, and people take risk for reward. I used to always hear stories about people sleeping in their cars and things like that. You never would have thought that would have happened to me, but it did. It actually did. You know, chasing your dreams isn't easy. It isn't for the weak, and if it was easy, everybody would do it.
You're right.
So when I did go to Atlanta, I had linked up with an artist named Paper Love and an artist named BL Deck.
Okay.
Very known people in Atlanta.
Okay.
So linking with these people after I did the photo shoot, they love the work, right?
Right.
So probably 2 weeks later, I come back. Building relationships.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Every time I come back, I always meet either 2 or more people than I did the last time I came. So I'm always steady gaining people to know. And working with VL Deck one day, she told me to pull up. I'll never forget this day. Told me to pull up. This is a regular, I just pulled up to a line out of nowhere. I didn't tell nobody, just pulled up. He told me pull up. I said, okay, bet. I pull up. I'm seeing Maybach trucks, G-Wagons, Aston Martins and stuff. I'm like, I don't remember all this now. What's going on? So basically, Future and Lil Baby was having a video shoot. Yes, and it shocked me. Yeah, it shocked me. So during that video show, I'm seeing all these photographers. It's at least 50 photographers. I'm in Atlanta. It's a lot of photographers. So I just sum it up real quick. Future, I posted my picture from that video shoot and had over 500,000 likes. It just shot me up real quick. Like, I mean, I gained probably 5,000 followers that just that very, you know what I mean, time. So a lot of things happened. And that was just in 4 months of me doing photography.
Now were you still living or sleeping in your car?
Okay,
about that
during that time, I met people.
Okay, but seriously, I just had to ask because I think it's amazing how you, within 4 months, went from like point A to point Z.
Yes.
And now, take me through just the start of a beautiful career. I know you've worked with Future, you've gotten this Future cosign. Tell me about working with the other artists. I know you've worked with like Zaytoven. I know he's played a huge role in your artistry, and I want to learn more about that.
For sure. Working with Zaytoven, that's my favorite person to work with. He's just a very humble, hardworking guy. Like very motivational too.
To our viewers who aren't familiar with Zaytoven, like that this should help you connect the dots. He's a very popular producer. But tell me about meeting him and the impact that he's had on you.
Meeting Zay, I met him at a video shoot, and I remember he was finna take a picture on his phone.
Okay.
And I was like, oh no, I specialize in this. What you doing, Zay? Let me take care of you real quick. He was like, all right, bet. Took the pictures, literally. Never looked back. We was locked in since that day. We've been locked in for 6 years now. So that just lets you know. Yeah, I mean, relationships.
And tell me just some of the services. Is it like does he go through your website and book? Does he call you on the phone?
Call me up.
Do you just know his schedule almost?
Call him up. And Zay is so, he can have anything going on. He can be in the studio with Lil Uzi. He's still going to have you come through. Either he doesn't care. He wants you to win too. That's just him. He wants you to win. Like, if he's able to help you out, that's him.
This has been a great promotion for Zaytoven. I hope he tunes in. But seriously, beyond Zaytoven, tell me just some more artists that you've worked with and just some of the highs and lows of that. I know specifically one of the challenges you face throughout this artistry is learning pricing.
Yes.
Especially when you're working with celebrities. And kind of really tell me about navigating that specific area of business.
So with the photography part, with the pricing, I did know that celebrity photographers or people that's in the music industry do charge more than an average photo shoot. So had to look at other photographers and see how their pricing is and kind of base myself off that. And either people that's kind of doing what I'm doing kind of see where they're basing their price at and kind of see how I can work off that.
And so basically just kind of like feeling out the market for it.
Seeing what makes sense and things like that.
But have you ever run into a moment where you had to kind of stand firm in your pricing? Has anyone ever made you?
Most definitely.
Oh yeah, and tell me about that.
Most definitely. I just think so if traveling and things, you just want things that make sense. You know, I'm not like a stingy person. Just want things to make sense for both of us.
And
so we
does
can make
make
something
sense.
happen. I'm down to work with anybody. You know what I mean? So.
And are there any other obstacles that you've run into besides pricing? And you know, actually, this is good enough that I'd like to say this for our final segment, so I can really just get into what makes you unique. I know a quote that I heard from you said it took you 2 years to kind of refine your style and make it unique. And I encourage our viewers to tune into the final segment of this awesome interview, where Zoe and I will be discussing his artistry, urban black photography in Middle Tennessee, and ultimately the impact that he seeks to leave on our community. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin. You're watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I have Photos by Zoe. I have a young urban entrepreneur here to discuss black photography in Middle Tennessee. He's discussing his artistry, his career as a celebrity photographer. He's talking about the impact that he seeks to leave on local Tennessee and Georgia communities through this work. And we're talking about ways that we can support him in his endeavors. In our first two segments, my guest talked about his childhood. He set up what his family life looked like that ultimately shaped him. We talked about just some of the experiences through school that he had. We talked about his move to Atlanta. We talked about experiences like sleeping in your car while traveling for work. And we just talked about keeping the faith, kind of keeping your head up throughout situations like that. And ultimately, we're coming right back in to current career, current Zoe, what a day in his life looks like, and ultimately how we can support him through this awesome work. What does a day in your life look like, man? Average day.
An average day, I give it 2 examples. So say if I'm booked.
Okay.
Right? So I'm gonna give you a good one.
Okay, yeah.
Say if I'm in Atlanta, right?
Okay.
If I'm going to Atlanta, I'm gonna try to link with at least 5 to 6 artists.
Ooh.
So I can be with Future, VL, Dick, Zaytoven, Young Dro, it just anybody. You know what I mean? Just in one day. You know what I mean? So that's how I used to do things when I first started. I was just 5, 6 artists a day. 5, 6 artists a day. 5, 6 artists a day. And having that social media platform and posting that type of stuff, it grabs attention. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I was doing things at first, and it's kind of still the same. It's kind of less people because I'm more of who I am and aware of my time, and you know. So, but.
And again, physically, what does that look like to do 5 to 6 bookings? I mean, because that's physical. You're moving hands and you're bending.
Yes, very short on time.
Where do you eat? Do you eat?
Yeah, I do. You know, Atlanta got them little chicken spots and stuff. I probably stop there.
Get you a little wing
Yeah,
plate.
something real quick. But now I'm really straight working. I'm be so laser focused on what I'm trying to do because I know I don't stay. Well, you know, I stay in Nashville, so if I'm out of town anywhere, I try to get the best amount of time I can of taking care of work.
And now, what does the editing kind of turnaround time look like for you?
Oh, next day. Maybe the same day, depending on when you.
6 bookings.
Yes.
And you can turn that around in the same.
Yes, most definitely.
Really?
Most definitely. That's one thing that kind of set me apart with people. They was getting their pictures that quick.
It does. Yeah. Even my senior photos in high school, you didn't, you know, it took a couple weeks. Can we talk about how you've learned how to do this? Or we have to talk about it, man.
I think just doing it first as one person and being able to give the picture to them either the same day or the next day, it just trickled on. It just became a second habit, just a habit. So.
And so throughout all of this, honey, where do you prioritize you? I hear like how you've supported the city, you supported Nashville, Atlanta. Where do you take time to make yourself smile? What makes you smile?
Actually working.
Really?
Anything that's able to grow the business or just keep going, that's a blessing to me.
And with this work, like I mentioned in our second segment, I know you said that it took you about 2 years to kind of master your style. You have a specific look.
Yes, ma'am.
The subject is kind of brightened up. It's like a little grainy, a little dark. It gives a very hip hop feel with your photography, and that's coming from somebody who has no real education in terms like art education or anything, but I can see it and I feel it. Sure. I feel like the energy of it. You did photos for me at a concert and you had like my skin glistening. I was wearing black. The black was super black. I was like, wow, I look like Lil' Kim or somebody. and that has me asking now, how did you learn? Or how did you kind of refine that style? That specific.
No, for sure, for sure. I know, and this is like I say, 6 years ago. A lot of people wasn't using the black aesthetic. You know, they was just making light. You know, pictures just have light. So I was like, you know, I kind of like the dark look. You know what I mean? I kind of like it, and no one was doing it, and it looked good on artists or celebrities. So. This only made sense, but as time goes on, I'm seeing more people with it, So it's kind of like, it used to laugh, like, literally laugh, like, man, it's dark. Now it's kind of like the thing now.
I know, and actually I've been able to witness this firsthand. I've been following you 4 years since we were both in high school, and I've been able to see the transition of your work, but also I've been able to witness other photographers here in town who kind of specialize in the light, almost kind of like washed out looking photos and kind of transitioning into that dark grain. And I'm over here thinking like, wow, this is like the Zoe effect.
Just give you credit.
It's really, I want to say, yeah, it's the Zoe effect. I've seen a lot of, I won't say amateur, but just younger photographers in town try to emulate that, but it just doesn't have that same vibe. And I think that the vibe in question kind of comes with your personality. I'm a little biased because we've been friends for so long, but I can say objectively that you're very friendly, timely, you are on time. And like you said, not only just to show up for this booking, but to have the photos back to these people. And just tell me, it's just some of the characteristics that make you unique in that archery. I've just mentioned time and kind of your positive attitude, but highlight yourself. Tell me just what sets you apart from the run-of-the-mill photographer.
Mindset.
Yeah.
That's the mindset. The way I think, the way I move, it all trickles down on how how I am.
And
That's really just the mindset.
I'm about to say, and I need deeper than that. What about your mindset? Are you praying? Are you meditating?
Oh, most definitely praying. I wouldn't just say closed off. I just have a smaller circle. You know what I mean? I don't have too many people that's bringing different energies. I'm not giving my energy out just to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like that. It's, yeah,
and that's something really great that you just said. I'm not giving my energy out to everyone. I think as young business owners, we feel pressured to take every booking and like return every call. And that stuff can be dangerous, both physically and just emotionally, spiritually. And I want you to give some words to a young photographer, just a young businessman who's watching this, who's kind of in that struggle right now where they're like, man, I need this money, but I don't really feel safe going over here. Just kind of speak some encouragement to those young photographers.
Most definitely. You don't have to say yes to everything. There's always more work out here. You know what I mean? I always say if some person say no, everybody ain't gonna say no. Somebody will say yes.
Somebody's gonna say yes.
But when being a photographer or anything in life, you know, it's not gonna be easy. Every day it's not gonna be the best. You know, what you have to do is just try to make the best out of it. That's really the main thing.
And I mean, I'm like beating it out of you, man. You're talking good stuff, but I know you're naturally a quiet person, so I'm trying to pull it out of you. But seriously, when you talk about just this personality, having this good attitude, what is good? What does right and just look like for you? What impact, what did Uncle Jamal and Zaytoven, these men that are a little bit older, what did they show you that you said to yourself, man, I need to, you know, take this in, and this is the kind of man that I want to be? Tell me some of those characteristics with those mentors and those men who played that pivotal role in your life that have shaped you.
Mainly just pushing myself, making the people around me better, making more opportunities for others and myself.
Like what? What does more opportunities look like?
More bookings, more ways to travel, giving people opportunities to do things. So, for example, say if I know a producer, right? And I know an artist, that's big. Well, I can get you a placement. You know what I mean?
I'll give an example. You knew a producer named Young Lan, and you just so happened to be booked to do my studio photos, and you gave me a call, and you're like, hey, I had this guy, you might be interested in him. Honey, I went and Googled Young Lan. I was like, interested? So you get him here now. And you made that connect, and now I really, really like Young Lan. I was a fan of his music beforehand, but now I sit here, I'm like, wow, and I really appreciate that. Because you didn't have to do that. That man was all the way in Mount Juliet. He was here on business, and you extended a hand to me, and you didn't have to do anything for me or anybody else. And I think that really speaks to the character that we're on here highlighting, because you're just friendly. And I appreciate that. You know, I'm about to say, you know, with as many people that are just not as friendly in the world, I think those shining lights really stand out. And after I've promoted you and just buttered you up good, I want you to give your social medias now, give your website, give ways that people can connect with you and possibly have an experience as positive as I did.
Most stuff. Instagram, PhotosByZo, to make it even better, _PhotosByZo, _, make it even better for you. And yeah, also TikTok, PhotosByZo, everything PhotosByZo.
And is that how they go booking through Instagram?
Yes, you can DM me any message. I will answer. I will answer.
I'm not Hollywood.
People be thinking, people think I won't answer. It's crazy.
I know, right? Thank you, Zoe. Seriously, thank you for putting a smile on my face, and thank you for the work that you do in our community. And to our viewers, thank you for just the opportunity to share one more perspective, and thank you for giving me a platform to share the stories that shape our beautiful community. Good morning.